Hello everyone, welcome back to Ramon at Home. I'm so excited you're here today. I cannot believe that we are talking about Christmas and Christmas is just around the corner. So that's why I want to come up with some ideas to inspire you to create beautiful items and vignettes in your home for your family and friends. All right, you guys, are you ready to get creative? Well, before we get started, I would appreciate if you like this video, share with your friends on Facebook, on Instagram, and on WhatsApp. Why? Well, because it is free and it really helps this channel. And if you subscribe, don't forget to turn the notification bell on because you will not want to miss what's coming up next all throughout October and November. You will not want to miss it. Are you guys ready? Let's get started. All right, you guys, so we're going to do a dual stick candlestick centerpiece, and in order to do that we have to put a foam in here. So what I like to do is cut a square piece, but we need it to be round, so what I'm going to do is flip it upside down, and then I'm going to start cutting around my circle just to create more of a circular shape, because we do want to put a candle on top of it, and I don't want that square to be like coming out of the corners. So basically just go around your foam and you cut, you bevel it, what we call it in the industry, then you go upside down. Now that we have more of a circular shape, we're going to grab our glue and we're going to be very generous with it because we want it to stick to our candlestick form. So we press down. So I'm gonna work on them as a set. I'm gonna go like this, and I'm going to put it like this. I'm gonna flatten this a little bit more, like that. Perfect, because our candles have to sit perfectly straight on them. So now that I have my centerpiece, I'm gonna get my knife away. I'm going to bring my greeneries. So I'm gonna start with this pick right here. Now this pick I selected because you can basically pull it out very easily. So one pick per centerpiece. And you guys, I'm having so much fun creating all of these DIYs. I've been dreaming about making centerpieces and DIYs for the table, and this video is just perfect for it. So basically what we're going to do is we're gonna pull them out or cut them, because we do have a set of wire cutters. So basically what we're going to do is cut right here. Oh my gosh, it's a very heavy wire one. All right, so we do need to strip them out. So also what you can do is pull it like this. Oh, look at that, it's paper, so you can just pull them out like this. We're going to pick at the end anyway, so might as well just rip them out like that. And we're gonna start with one. Actually, no, you know what? Let me do all of them. But you have to separate them because remember, we have to have the exact same amount for one side. So that's why I pick one of these stem for centerpiece. So you pull them out and separate them immediately. So we're gonna start with this right here, having all of your stuff at the ready. Oh, I dropped one. All right, so let's get started. We're going to grab some of these picks. Remember, there's going to be a candle on the top. And so I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna start right there. So remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. And there's some dangly ones, and I just absolutely love it because it's going to create, look at this. We go up like that. Then it's going to create that motion. And then we have some berries. We're gonna add some berries to it. At this point, what I wanna do is just put some glue on it. And I'm going to come over to this side, like this. And remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. So I'm gonna move these guys right here. I'm going to look for that piece that was dangly like that, and I found it. I'm going to mimic what I just did on this side. So I'm gonna cut right here. I'm gonna add a little bit of glue. And then I'm gonna come over to this side. So now they both dangle, and I'm going to repeat it. Here's the other part of it. So we're gonna go down like this. Like so. So now you see how they have both the same shape. So I'm gonna repeat that berry as well. I'm gonna add my glue. And I'm going to insert right on this side like this. So they're going to meet. So now I have to put the other one that goes over to this side. So I'm gonna grab this one, cut a little bit shorter, grab my hot glue gun, smear it with glue, and then go over to this side and go like that. And so now they're twins. So now I have to repeat the other side. And I'm gonna grab this guy right here. I'm gonna add some glue. And I'm gonna go over to this side like this. And so now I'm gonna grab this other one that is to the other side. So it's just repeating what happens on the right happens on the left. We're going to repeat all of this right here, like this. And you continue to go around. So now I have this beautiful holly that is frosted. And I'm gonna grab my glue. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the front. Remember, this is for a tablescape, so I want it to be very dramatic and gorgeous. So we're going to smear some glue. Like this. And you know what, I decided that I'm going to get rid of my pick machine, and I'm gonna start just using some glue. I think it is easier for me. So I'm gonna bring my glue gun over here, and I'm gonna cut another berry from this side. When you are doing dual centerpieces, remember to separate all of the elements, so that way you use one from the left, one from the right, because they have to be twins at this point. I'm gonna add this guy right here, adding glue. You know, the reason why I went from a pick to just glue, because the disc was too small. I didn't take in consideration that. So now that I know, the glue will be my best bet, because there's not enough foam here to let me play with the pick machine. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. All right, so I'm gonna grab this guy right here. I'm gonna go over to this side, like that. And so I'm gonna do the same thing, mimicking the same motion on each side, okay? So that way they are balanced when they're on the table, like so. All right, so I have a few berries that I'm going to add, and I'm gonna create a triangle by adding them over to this side right here. So I'm gonna do the same to the other one. Like I said, it's just repeating. That matter. What happens on the right happens on the left. And this is a way, the perfect way to practice, because you are doing right and left, right? We want them to be similar, like that. See how they look beautiful together? All right, so now I'm gonna grab this other pick right here. I just love, love, love this one. I'm gonna cut a little bit shorter because you can really fluff it out. Look how pretty this is. And we're doing more like a frosty look for this. So this is perfect for this. I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna push all the way in like this. And so I'm gonna do the same to this side. Remember to just fluff them out really beautifully. And we're gonna cut shorter. Add some glue to it. And we're gonna go over here and push all the way in. All right, you guys, well, I'm going to finish adding this particular one. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and I'll be right back to give you the next step. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so I have these little bundles of cedar, and it's the real touch cedar. It's so pretty. I have this Band-Aid because I burned myself. I cannot work with a Band-Aid on. So as you can see, I already started right here. This is what's going to really help us to fill in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way in, and then I'm gonna spread them out like this, and I'm going to go in between all of my greeneries. These ones you have to cut really short because you want that green to get as close as possible to our candlestick. And like I said, once you insert, go ahead and fluff like this and see how that's going to fill in. So remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. Go ahead and give it a little cut and just spread them out. Look how cute these are, you guys. These are the perfect filler for centerpieces, and I am so glad that I found them, because this is what's going to really help me to fill in these centerpieces. Then at the end, of course, we'll go in with some moss. I'm gonna spin them around a little bit so I can continue to work. And see how I did that? You have to spin everything around the same way, because that's what's going to really give you the balance on your centerpiece. But what I was telling you is this is a beautiful cedar that look the way it fluffs out. So the way we insert it sideways to fill in our centerpieces, and it is, like I said, perfect for centerpiece making. Look at that. I just absolutely love it. We're gonna go ahead and do one on this side. Oh my gosh, you guys, I sneezed and my nose is like now bothering me, but we're gonna get this video done if it is the last thing I do. Thumbs up for James. You guys, James is behind the camera, and he's been such a sport making these videos because it's like long days. You guys want to say hi to Jameson? Come here, say hi. He's been taking the pictures and the reels that you see on the Instagram and the Facebook. Give it up for Jameson.
I'm back.
How are you doing?
Good. I'm excited. We took a little break from trees, and I'm excited doing these micro projects. I think it's It's important, you know, especially when you have large spaces to deal with. You know, you can only do trees for so long, so it's important to utilize. Well, let's do smaller projects and see where that goes.
And this adds
products.
This adds so much to the home.
100%, absolutely.
All right, well, thank you so much for the help. You guys, give it up for Jameson. He loves reading your comments, by the way. It's one of his favorite things, so be sure to leave him a comment down below. And the cameraman, like I said. All right, so I'm gonna insert another one right here, like this, and then, like I said, fluff it out, and look how pretty that looks. So now I'm gonna go over to the other side. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. So we're going to continue to fluff this gorgeous cedar, my fave. I know I always tell you that's my favorite, it's my favorite, but I really just do love all this product, you guys. How can I not love it? Look how pretty it's looking. So we're gonna spin around a little bit, and I'm going to add the last one of these, and just fluff it really fluffy. Add some glue, and we're gonna insert right in here. And I'm gonna grab this one and give it a fluff. And look how that just filled it up. Like I told you, this particular pick, it is perfect for centerpiece making because it's that bundle that you can really fluff out. All right, so I'm gonna add this insert right here. Once we insert, we fluff. Look, that just filled it up really, really good. All right, so far so good. I love the way they're draping. I love the way they're looking. So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring some flowers. And for this particular one, I wanted to add some of these beautiful roses right here. And I'm going to cut the rose. Let me see how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 4 for you and 4 for me. Like I said, it's so important to know how many you have so that way you can distribute them. So I'm gonna cut the flower, and then I'm gonna cut some greenery. So you can get 2 cuts of greenery like this. Go ahead and put a little bit of that glue, and then just add this right here, because it's going to add that greenery, that foliage to your centerpiece, and it makes it look more natural. Put one on the right, one on the left, one up, one down. And so now I'm gonna grab this rose. I'm gonna put a little bit of glue, and I'm gonna start over, let's see. I'm going to make sure that I have my centerpieces the way I want them on the table. So that one goes like that. This one goes like this. So I'm gonna start right there. I'm going to add one rose right in here, like that. And then I'm gonna grab another one. I'm gonna cut a little bit shorter. And remember to do those cuts for the foliage, okay? Don't waste any product. One right here, and add them to your centerpiece, like that. And then we add the second one. Look how pretty this foliage is, like the real touch foliage. Okay, so I'm gonna add it right here. Perfect. So I'm gonna grab this other rose, and I'm gonna put it right next to it, because remember we work in sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So I'm gonna grab this rose, and I'm gonna push it right there. So there's like that right here. And so now I'm gonna grab one from this side. We're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna cut one a little bit longer without the foliage. Then we cut our foliage into 2. And the first thing I want to add is the foliage, because that way it's going to make my centerpiece look more natural. Well, as natural as a plastic flower will make it, but it does add that element of, you know, nature. And that's why I always recommend to add the foliage from the flower. So I'm gonna grab my rose, and I'm going to add right here, like that. And then we're gonna grab the other one. Remember, cut the other one short. And then we're going to cut these foliages. One right here, and immediately add those foliages. So I'm gonna add now one over to this side. Make sure that it goes into the foam so that way it stays. And so now I'm gonna add another one over to this side, right here. So beautiful. So now we grab our flower, add a little bit of glue, and then we're gonna go in here and just put them together. See, they're like twins. So now I have 2 left. So I'm gonna bring another one closer. So I'm gonna cut this one short, and this one short. And I'm gonna cut this short, and this short. And I will go back and pick up those stems and put the foliage, and trust me, I'm not wasting anything. All right, so now this one needs to be a little shorter. So now I'm gonna add one to my back, right here, catty corner, and then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other one, so that way it's on the same spot. And then I'll spin them around so you can see. I'm gonna add this guy right here. So I'm gonna spin him around. That's where I put him. The other one I want to do really short because I want it to be just touching the foam. I'm gonna go ahead and open right here and right there. I'm gonna do the same with this one. I want to touch the foam, so cut it as short as possible. And then we're gonna add some glue. And I'm gonna open up right here, and that's where I'm gonna put it, right there. Okay, so you guys, now I have these bundles of ornaments. I have 4 of them. Look how cute these are. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna push them all up like this. So it's more of a tighter cluster. I'm gonna cut right here. And then I'm going to grab some glue. And I'm gonna add it like a focal point right here. Look how cute that is, you guys. And so now I'm gonna add another one over on this side. So I'm gonna cut short. And oh, you know what? I ran out of glue, so let me grab a glue stick. That's why it's so important to have all of your tools at the ready, because if you run out of glue, you have to get some glue. Okay, so I'm gonna add some glue right here. Glue, glue, glue. I feel like I just said glue like 4 times in a row. Okay, so I'm gonna open up right here and I'm going to insert those ornaments. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. Look at that. How gorgeous. Okay, so now I'm going to repeat the same thing. So let's see. I have the 2, so the 2 are over here. It's facing like this. So I need to put a cluster of ornaments right here, pushing them all up like so. And adding some glue. And I'm gonna add it right here in between all of these beautiful berries. Like that. And then the other one is over to the side. I'm gonna add this. You guys, these are so festive. It looks like the holidays are here. I just love the greenery and the Christmas ornaments. I feel like that just creates a beautiful, beautiful, cheerful look. All right, so the last thing I have is I'm going to break this apart and I'm going to fill in the spots where I feel like I need them. I'm gonna put this on the table, put some candles on them, and I'll be right back with you. Keep watching. All right, you guys, so for this particular tablescape, we changed the chargers and we used a red charger to kind of tie in with the red rose theme that we have going on and the frostiness. I also added some pillars in red and then this cute little bow to the bottle with a sprig of greenery. That's another great way to use your ribbon this holiday season. I love the way this turned out with all of this beautiful greenery on the dish, the neutral napkins. It is just absolutely spectacular. Remember, the key here is to work side by side. When you're creating candlestick centerpieces, you want to work with them both or as many as you're making at the same time, so that way you have more balance on your centerpiece. All right, I cannot wait to share the next one, so stay tuned. There's more. Stay tuned. All right, you guys, so to create a gorgeous Christmas garland DIY for your mantle, for above a mirror or above a door, there's a few steps that I want to mention before I get started. And that's number 1, having your tools at the ready. I have my wire cutters, my scissors, the ribbons that I'm going to be starting with because that'll be the first step, and also cut up wires. I have already fluffed my garland, which would be step number 1, is always to fluff your garland. You want to touch every single bristle. And so the next step would be to also have your lights at the ready. And I'm always telling you that Walmart does have a great selection of lights. They are LED and they are super affordable. And guess what? They will last you a long time because they're LED. Also have a extension cord, so that way I can get started. So let's get started with this beautiful garland DIY for Christmas. Step number 1, like I said, I want to fluff my garland. I already went ahead and did that. So step number 2 is going to be to light it. And I always like to share with you this step. Sorry if I give you my back for a few seconds because I like to start where my connection is. So I'm gonna have my connection right here. And then also what I want to do is I want to do this until I have the first light, and I'm going to attach that to my garland because I don't wanna see that green wire hanging off of it. So I'm gonna start right here, and then I'm gonna grab my lights and I'm gonna start zigzagging, and every time I zigzag, I'm gonna grab a bristle and I'm gonna use that bristle to attach that light so it doesn't move from my garland. It is super easy, but this step can take a few minutes. But if we take the time to do it properly, then when we're done with the holiday season, you can always just pull this string of lights like this and they'll come right out. And of course, I'm going to share with you that when we pack away our Christmas this year, because I do want to share a video with you about how to properly store all of your Christmas. I'm going to share with you my storage unit for the first time in 5 years. You guys, can you believe I've been doing Christmas here on YouTube for 5 years already? Where has time gone, right? And if you have been here since the beginning, be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what was the first video you saw here at Ramon at Home. I always love to read your comments. You know that I'm always on the comment section for the first hour when I release a video, answering your comments, talking to you guys. I just love to interact with every single one of you. Okay, I'm gonna cross over to this side. So as you can see, it is super easy. We're going up, grabbing a bristle, pulling that bristle up, then going down. I skip about 4 inches. I go up, I grab a bristle right here. I pull up, that'll hold my lights. Then I skip about 4 inches, then I go up, I pull up. It's very repetitive motion, but this is the way that I found to add lights the easiest. Because like I said, you can just pull the string out and the lights will come right out in one string. All right, so I'm gonna finish right here. Just because we got to the end doesn't mean that we have to slack. So all we need to do is go ahead and grab our garland like this and pull it forward. If there is furniture around you like these lamps, then you wanna grab that garland and pull it forward. And then just start doing this zigzag and then grabbing one of the bristles. As you guys can see, I have 100 lights, and 100 lights, it's perfect for a 9-foot garland, which this is a 9-foot garland. I'm gonna touch right there. Look at that, our lights are ready. So that's step number 2, remember. Step number 1 is to fluff it. You always wanna touch every single bristle from your garlands, your wreaths, and then also your Christmas trees. So now the next step is going to be to add our ribbons. And for that, I'm gonna use the exact same ribbon that we used on our Christmas tree. If you guys have not seen the matching Christmas trees to this, a few weeks ago, I shared with you the Christmas tree, the wreath, and the centerpiece in one video. I'm gonna link it down below so you can take a look at that so you guys can see how it all matches. All right, because I'm gonna start, let's see. I'm gonna start right here in the corner. So I'm gonna pinch like this. Then I'm gonna grab a bristle and I'm going to introduce my garland right here. And then I'm going to come this way and I'm gonna do a swoop. Then I'm going to attach with 2 bristles right here, just crossing them like that. And then I'm gonna do another one right here. And you have to come up with something like this. Now I'm gonna go over to this side and we need to do the same thing over on this side. So we're gonna do 1 poof. And then I'm gonna leave that tail hanging like that. So then I'm gonna grab my ribbon and I'm gonna do the same on this side. So basically I'm gonna start over on this side. I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a tail right there. I'm gonna go like this, crossing those bristles. I'm gonna do another poof right here. Go like this. I'm gonna do 1 more poof, a little poof right here. I'm gonna go like this. Just grabbing that bristle, twisting it. Look how pretty. And so now I'm gonna go this way. So I'm gonna grab yet another ribbon like this. And I'm gonna introduce it right here. And this, where this one ends, I'm gonna put yet another one right here. And I'm gonna attach. And this is a method if you already cut your ribbons. If these are ribbons that you already used from Christmas past, then you want to reuse them. I'm always telling you at the end of the season to go ahead and just store those ribbons properly. So that way you can do this. You know, you can reuse your ribbons, your ornaments. If you have new ribbon, of course, you can always just cut from your bolt. But look at that. And then I'm gonna go over this side. I'm gonna do yet another one right here, like this. Basically what I want is to have this ribbon all throughout my garland. I'm gonna leave this opening right here for a future dudette that we'll do. And then I'm gonna grab this other one right here, which is a short one. And I'm gonna finish this over here. So I'm gonna start right here, like this. And I'm gonna do another poof over on this side. And I want to make sure that I have not twin sisters, but for sure sisters, or at least cousins. I'm going to grab my scissors. I'm going to cut this right here. I'm going to cut this guy right here as well. Always cutting at a dovetail because that is the most pleasing to the eye. I'm going to leave this opening right here, making sure that all of my ribbons that show are dovetailed. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this beautiful ribbon, which is in a bolt. I'm just going to drop it on the floor. And for this one, what I want to do is I want to do some bows. So I'm going to cut out a dovetail. And you guys know that I have a super easy step, whether I'm decorating a Christmas tree or whether I'm decorating a garland or a wreath, which is ribbons first, ornaments second, picks, stems, and florals third. And then at the end, we add accent ribbons, accent ornaments, accent poinsettias, just the more luxurious items that you may have, that you may want to add to your garland. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this cute little bow in gold, which is the one that we use on the centerpiece. And I'm going to attach this right here where we added our bow. Then we're going to do a soup right here, about the same size as this. And I'm going to attach with my bristle like this. I'm going to go ahead and you kind of have to run your hand under it to give it that body that it needs. I'm going to attach right here, giving that poof like that. And then I'm going to cut right here. I'm going to cut a long tail like that. And then I'm going to go over to this side because remember, I'm always telling you that what happens on the left happens on the right. You guys, I want to tell you a story of what happened to me today. So every morning I go on a walk, and this day every morning I get up and read my Bible, drink my coffee. And today's verse was about one of my favorite verses, which talks about the shepherds and how they didn't do their job right. If you haven't read it, I really recommend it. Hang on, let me bring my Bible real quick. It's right here. It is, let me see. It is Ezekiel 34. I really recommend you read Ezekiel 34, which talks about the shepherds and the sheep. And so I went on a walk, and I'm going to add my bow right here, exactly where I put on the other side. And I'm going to start doing the same loops, basically at the same point where these ones are, with ending on a tail. But I do want to tell you this story. So I went on a walk, and there was this homeless guy just sitting there. There's a lot of homelessness here in California, unfortunately. I want to say it's almost like an epidemic of homelessness. And so there was this homeless guy, and I was just on my walk, and something inside of me, which I do not recognize, is the Holy Spirit. You know, when the Holy Spirit talks to you, you feel something. And there was something inside of me that told me to speak to this gentleman. And so on my way back, I spoke to this gentleman, and I was talking to him, and he told me his life story and how he ended up homeless and such. And on my way, the point is that, like, on my way back from my walk, I just said, God, if this is something you want me to do, just give me a sign that, you know, I should sit down and speak to this gentleman. And so something told me inside to just go ahead and do it. And so I did it. I started talking to him, and he told me the story how he was homeless and all these things. And then he's like, yeah, but I read my Bible every day. And I just, like, I knew that was the answer that I've been looking for. And then I said, oh, really? I said, what is your favorite Bible verse? And then he says, Psalm 23. And that really stopped me on my tracks, because when I was a kid, and I told him this story, when I was a kid and we used to go to church, on Sundays we'd have Sunday school, and they'd separate all the kids from the adults. And then we'd have like our own kiddie Sunday school while the adults had their own Sunday school. And then at the end of the service, they would bring the kids back where the adults were. And then we'd sing like a worship song or a song. And then at the end, every single kid would be on a row like this. And every single kid would say their Bible verse, their favorite Bible verse. Well, my favorite Bible verse, Psalm 23:1. And this gentleman is basically reciting me this psalm. So I took it as an answer, you know, that I was supposed to talk to this gentleman. And we started talking, and then he's telling me about why he ended up homeless and all these things. And I was just like, wow, life, it's so unpredictable, you know. And then he's like, I've been praying for I've been praying for somebody to stop and help me buy a tent. He's like, they're only $31. And so we started talking. I told him, well, you know, God does answer prayer. He's like, I've been praying for a tent. And so I just looked in my wallet and I gave him what I had on my wallet. And then he's like, oh my gosh, he's like, I cannot believe it. He's like, this is exactly what I needed to buy my tent. And that really, like, I started, like, I just say bye. And then I started walking back to go home and I could not stop crying because something inside of me said to stop and speak to this gentleman. And then now I recognize that it's because I had what he needed and he'd been praying for it. And so that just shook me to my core. And so I sobbed the whole way home. And so I just thought I'd share with you because I think that sometimes we just have to sit there and realize how blessed we are, you know, like that's what I was thinking, is like how blessed I am to have a roof over my head, to have you guys, to watch the videos and to be able to do things for people. And so sometimes I take that for granted. And so I knew that I needed that interaction this morning with this gentleman to remind me of how blessed I truly am, to do what I love, to have a home, to have my family, to have every single one of you is just such a blessing to me. And so I want you to know that this is not something that I take for granted. And so I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to do things like this. So thank you. All right, so now that's our second ribbon. We're going to add a third ribbon, which is going to be a plaid one, because remember that Christmas tree had a plaid ribbon. So I found this beautiful plaid ribbon at Walmart and it's so cute. I love it because it's traditional. And for this one, what we're going to do is we're going to do 3 loop bows like this. And you guys, look how easy it is to really make a bow. And every single bow has to be at a different length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a wire right here. Remember, always having your tools at the ready. And so I'm going to attach this bow right here. Basically like that. And for this one, I just want to go ahead and do longer tails. Let them hang. Let them be happy. I'm going to do it one more time right here. And remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. So we're going to pinch right here. Then we're going to do 1, 2, and another one. And remember all the loops to be at different lengths because that makes the loop, that makes the bow look more loopier. And so it looks more textured. That's what I'm trying to say. When you do different loops, then it just adds more texture to your garland. I'm going to touch this guy right here. And remember to just go ahead and give that some long tails to let it hang like that. We want it to be super, super loopy because I think that adds so much character to your garlands, to your wreaths. Remember you guys when I did last year the epic Christmas tree for my window? If you have not seen that Christmas wreath for the window last year, oh my gosh, you really need to go check it out. It was so much fun. All right, so now I'm gonna grab another wire and I'm going to go back and then I'm going to attach this guy right here like this. And then I'm going to cut a longer tail like that. So far we have 3 bows. We have loops of gold and the beautiful designer ribbon. I'm going to add a few more of these plaid bows to the sides and then I'll be right back with you guys to give you the next step. So keep watching. You're not going to be disappointed, I promise. I am obsessed. To me, nothing screams Christmas like this beautiful tartan plaid, especially this classic red and green one. It goes so well with your wreaths and your garlands and your Christmas tree because it has the classic red and then also that beautiful green. So I'm going to do, oh, you see, I'm almost done with it. I'm going to do a 3 loop bow and I'm just going to finish over on the other side because it's the last bow I'm going to add. So I'm going to add it right about here, facing this way. I'm gonna grab a bristle and I'm going to twist that wire into the bristle and I'm going to do a long loop tail like this. And look how absolutely beautiful this looks. This could really just stop right there, but it's Ramon at home. So we're not gonna stop right there. And for that, I have 2 baskets of ornaments that I'm going to be adding to this beautiful design. I'm gonna get them close to me right here. I'm gonna also put my scissors back where I can see them, because at this point, if you could just see the mess I have right here, but hey, you know they say it gets ugly before it gets pretty. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these red ornaments and I'm gonna start adding them to my design right here. So I'm gonna start right on this side. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. Now some of them do have a wire, some of them do not, but don't be afraid to just stick that wire in there, go up, cross it, twist, and now you have a stem. So now I'm gonna put this guy right here. I'm gonna go through here. And remember, don't be afraid to flatten those ribbons as you work, and then at the end we'll go back and readjust all of that. And then I'm going to add a red one right here, then center in the middle. And I'm gonna do it as tight as I can, so that way it looks like it's growing from the garland. So now I'm gonna move on to the gold ones. Now the gold ones are a little bit smaller than the red ones, because you wanna have a difference in not only sizes, but textures, finishes, so that way it looks more finished. So I'm gonna add one right here, right next to it. Remember that by clumping them together like that, you are creating a beautiful focal point on your garland. So I'm gonna add one right here, like that. And then I'm gonna bring another gold one. For this one, I want to be a matchy one. So I'm gonna put this one right here. And look, you guys, just 6 ornaments really starts to fill in your garland, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna grab some of these gold ones and I'm going to go into my garland in between the red ones, and I'll explain why. So right here you have a big red one, right here you have a big red one. So now we're going to go in between those two. So I'm gonna go over that side. Then I'm gonna grab another one and I'm gonna put it on this side. Remember, what happens on the right always happens on the left. So therefore I'm going to grab this guy right here and I'm gonna go through here. I'm gonna pull, I wanna be able to see it. So right about there, I'm gonna add this guy right here like that. See how we have now a motion pattern right here that is swirling all throughout. So I'm gonna swap to a red one. So now I'm going to grab an even smaller red one, smaller than that last gold one that we had, and now we're going to do the same. We're going to cluster those two together by putting them together like that. Yet again, another one. So I'm gonna put one right here, and then we'll fluff this ribbon a little bit. And so now what I want to do is I'm gonna grab a gold one and I have to go all the way to my tails. Remember, we have to bring the same element all throughout. So I'm gonna add a gold one right there. And while I'm here, I'm gonna add a red one right next to it. Right next to it. Right there. And so now that has brought all the ornaments all the way down and all the way around. So now I'm going to go over to this side. Sorry if I cross you again. I'm gonna sit on this couch and I'm gonna grab this guy right here. Swirl it real quick. And then I'm gonna grab a red one that already has a wire. I'm gonna put it right next to it. And look at these, you guys. How absolutely gorgeous this looks just with ornaments and ribbons. But of course we're not done, because this is Ramon at home. So what I want to do is I'm gonna continue adding some of these ornaments right here randomly. A red one, a gold one, a red one, a gold one. But making sure that what I do on one side, I go to the next side and do it, because we want to maintain that balance. Like that. See how I put a gold one right here? So now I have to go ahead and put a gold one right in here. I'm gonna add it through. So I want it to be right in here. Like that. Grabbing a bristle. And then now, of course, I want to put a red one right next to it. Going like that. All right, so I have a few gold ones that I'm going to add. I'm just gonna grab random places like that right here, especially where the focal points are. And this one still has a tag, so we're gonna make sure that we cut that and grab a wire and poke it through. Thumbs up if you guys are enjoying this video. Be sure to share with your friends on Instagram, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, and invite them to come and join us. We're just getting started, and I promise you, I'm super excited to bring you all brand new Christmas DIYs, and I just hope that you are, well, as excited as I am to do all of this for Christmas. Right, so I have a few red ones left, just two. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna finish this off by adding this guy right here, like that. And then this one also does not have a wire. And if you guys see me always doing this, is because I want to make sure that I know where I need to place this ornament, like right here. It's more of an open space. Well, in the words of Matthew McConaughey, all right, we're almost there. So what we're going to do is we're going to add our stems. We have some berries, we have some eucalyptus that is red, and then also we have our beautiful flocked boxwood. So I'm gonna start with this guy right here. And so what I want to do is I'm gonna go ahead and add one right here on my focal point, and you wanna make sure that you go like that. Look how much texture that gives, and because it has that red berry, you guys, it really adds so much to it. And when you add this particular one, you want to make sure that you add, let me show you real quick. So this stem has a glitter point to right here. So from right here to right here is where you insert, and from right here onward, that's where you display. Why? Because that is what we call in the industry your money maker. You don't want to hide all of this, because look, you're already missing about 5 to 6 inches of beauty that you're inserting into your tree or your garland. So you want to make sure that you let these ones outfly as possible, as much possible. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one step forward, like right here, and we're going to add another one. And remember, what happens on the left happens on the right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over to this side, and I'm going to insert another one right here. And remember to let them spill forward. We want to make sure that they spill forward like this, so that way they give us some girthing to our garland. And we're going to go right here in the middle, like that. Look at that. And then because I went up, what do we say? What goes up must come down. So I'm gonna put one right here in the same spot, and that's going to be our middle. Look at that, okay? So then I have 2 left, one I dropped. I'm gonna go to the corners, because remember, we do not let the corners undecorated. A lot of people tend to do that. They just forget about the corners. They put all the material and then they forget about the corners. But look, by adding that, we just brought all of the same elements all throughout. And I'm gonna explain something. I'd rather skip right here, because in the perfect world, I would put another one right here. But because I don't have enough to do the ends, and then another one, but we still have some other picks to add. So I'm going to skip that little area right there. I'm gonna grab my tail, gonna add one of these picks all the way up, like that. Look at that. So now we have all the materials going all the same way. So now I have this red eucalyptus. So I have 1, 2. Remember, I like to put them on my hand so I know how many. 3, 4, 5. I have 6 large ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna start over on this side. Remember how I ended that way, and I didn't have another one to finish. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these red ones right here. So I'm gonna go through like that, like that. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna skip over to this side, because what happens on the right happens on the left. And you know what, at this point I feel like I do need to cut these ones a little bit shorter. So I'm gonna go right here, like that. Don't be afraid to cut your stems, you guys. And if you're going to cut right where the glitters ends, or like about 2 inches the other way. Remember, we're gonna go over to this side now, and I'm gonna cut another one, and I'm gonna put it over on this side, right at my focal point. And then we're going to grab another one, and I'm gonna make one face down, because we want all of the same elements. And I'm going to, because this one's facing this way, I'm gonna grab mine and I'm gonna put it facing this other way, right in here. So now we have both ways. And then also don't forget to end your end right here. So you want to kind of push forward a little bit, and then we're going to add this one right about here. You can grab a bristle and just twist it between to hold it right there. And I do have another one for this side over here, like that. Look at that. So now we have all of these beautiful garland, and I have all of these berries I also want to add, which are like a matte gold with a little bit of silver, and I just absolutely love them. So I'm gonna add one right here. At this point, you just want to alternate Look at that. How absolutely stunning is this one, you guys? It just adds so much texture to it. I'm gonna add this guy right here. So for a focal point. And then I'm going to go all the way to my focal point, and I'm going to add another one of those over on this side. And then I'm going to go over to this side and add yet another one right here. And I have 2 left, and guess what they're for? They're for facing down. So now we're going to add right here. Okay, so we're going to add some of these beautiful sugar poinsettias, and I'm just gonna pick randomly like right here. Now this is gonna help us cover some of those holes that are left in your design, but that's okay because that's why we have these beautiful items to insert like right here. And just make sure that you go through the garland so that poinsettia really sticks where it needs to stay. And you can also grab a bristle and just twist it around into your poinsettia if you needed to hold it even better. So then I have 3. We're gonna add a 4th one over here on this focal point right there, and then we're going to move over to the other side. And this is going to be the only item that I do not put on the ends because you will not see them, so don't waste your poinsettia. Also, we need to know where to stop. So we're going to add one up here like that. I'm gonna push this guy for a little bit like that. So that so far is what we have. And so that would be our 3rd step. So let's recap real quick. Number 1 is going to be to fluff your garland always. Number 2 is going to be to add your ribbons. In this case, we added the beautiful velvet ribbon, and then also this plaid ribbon and the gold ribbon right here, and this beautiful scripted velvet ribbon right here. After that, I added the ornaments, which we made clusters with, and then we just alternated the colors, so it looks very traditional. Then after that, we added our picks and stems, and then our florals. And so now our last step is going to be to add our accent ribbon. And for that, remember I chose this beautiful bejeweled ribbon that has all of these jewels, and I have cut it like this to do just one single loop with a tail going up and a longer tail going down. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this beautiful ribbon, just attaching to my garland right here, swirling it. So you want to make sure that you see that tail going down like that. That's why you want to leave a longer tail going down, because you want to make sure to curl it, so that way it shows all of those beautiful jewels that this ribbon has to offer. I'm going to add another one right here, curling that down. Let's see, I'm going to go over to this side, and I'm going to add one right here, right by my poinsettia, without disturbing the poinsettia. You want to find places where you might want to like put that ribbon so it shows like that. Look how beautiful that just catches the light and it screams holiday. So I'm gonna do yet another one right here with this guy. So I'm gonna go about 4 inches tail up, then I go like this, and then when you do that, this is really thick and it has jewels, so you have to be really careful like that. And then I'm going to grab a wire. I'm gonna pull this really, really tight. And look, you're left with this loop, like I said, a tail going up and a beautiful tail going down. So we have 1, 2, 3. So now I want to add another one over on this side, 4. We're gonna add it right here. I'm gonna move this ornament a little bit. I'm gonna insert. All right, everyone. So I just thought I'd give you a quick close-up of this absolutely gorgeous garland for your mantle using some of this beautiful bejeweled ribbon. You guys, this is so pretty, and as you can see, it's just a little accent. I also want to share with you a close-up of these beautiful poinsettias from Hobby Lobby. As you can see, there is not very many elements in this garland, but what makes it really lavish is the combination of the red and the gold and the way that it was assembled. And I just want to let you know that you too can have an absolutely gorgeous garland like this, whether it's on the mantle, above a door, or a mirror. It is super easy to make if you just follow the instructions on how to create the most wonderful garland for your fireplace. What do you guys think? To interrupt this video, but I want to take a second to invite you to come and join me on my private group on Facebook, Ramon at Home Masterclass, where I teach you not only how to make wreaths but also how to sell them. If you want to join this group, all you have to do is go to Facebook and look for the post that is pinned to the top, and that'll give you the instructions. And while we're at it, I also would like to invite you to check out my Etsy shop, where you can find all of the beautiful wreaths that I make that are one of a kind, up for grabs. All right, you guys, let's get back to the video. All right, so to decorate this beautiful Christmas tree here in my dining room, the first thing I want to do is add some ribbons, and I'm going to use the same lame back beautiful velvet one, and then also some of the plaid one that we used on the wreath and all throughout the room. So what I'm going to do is super simple. You guys have seen me do this before. So I'm going to do one single loop, because this is a 4-inch wired ribbon, and remember that I always like to have all of my tools at the ready. So you do one single loop, and then you attach this real quick by twisting like this. So you're gonna have one loop like this, and we're gonna start right here on the front. Let me get my sleeves ready. All right, so I'm gonna stop right here on the top. I'm gonna grab my wire and swirl it all the way around this tree right here. And then what you want to do is you want to give it a little bit of give, and then you're going to create a loop like this, and then you're going to do it again. So give it a little bit of body, go down again, and then create another loop right here. And so that's going to give us 2 loops, and I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to dovetail. Actually, on this one I'm going to cut it as slant. Remember, if your ribbon is 4 inches and wider, just cut it as slant. There's no need for a dovetail. I was telling you guys when I made the wreath that this ribbon is going to retire this year because it's pretty old, and I'm trying to use what I have, which I encourage you to use what you have already. If you have to invest, then invest in a good quality ribbon, because this ribbon I used in my mom's home tour. If you guys remember, that was 2019, 20, 21, 22. So that's over, and I already had used it once. So I've used it for 4 years. So it's a good quality ribbon, so that lasts longer, right? So I'm gonna come over to this side. I'm gonna go one step down, and I'm gonna do the exact same thing. So I'm going to grab one of those bristles and give myself a loop and a tail. And then what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do another loop right here. I'm gonna grab my branch and twist, and then I'm going to do yet another one right here. I'm gonna grab a branch and I'm going to twist like this, and then I'm gonna just leave this little tail right here. So that's all the one that I have left from using. So this is what I have left on my bolt. So I'm gonna cut it a slant right here. And I just wanna take a second to thank you guys so much for this wonderful Christmas season. Are you having fun? Are you being inspired? I've had so much fun so far, and I am so looking forward to the home tour, and that's coming up really soon. If you guys have not seen how I decorate my main Christmas tree, it was absolutely spectacular, and I really recommend you go check it out. And also I'll show it to you on my Christmas home tour coming up really soon. I could not be more excited. Last year's home tour, if you have not seen, you can check it out down below and somewhere here on the screen. It was all crystals. I called it a frozen Christmas, and it was all crystals. It was all white. It was spectacular. So this year we did a 180-degree turn, and we went with the most colorful pattern that I can find for Christmas, which is a plaid, a classic plaid. All right, so I'm gonna do one loop right here, and then I'm gonna do another one, and remember to kind of tie them together like that. And I'm gonna cut right here a slant. And so I have 1, 2, I'm gonna move over to this side right here. Let me grab a wire while I do that. But as I was telling you, last year's holiday tour, it's perhaps one of my favorite Christmas that I've ever done. As I told you, when I made the wreath, I used to go out decorating people's homes for the holidays, and it was perhaps my favorite job that I've ever had. And I really hope and I pray to God that, you know, in the future I'm able to have my own business. I'm putting it out on the universe in order to be able to go out and help people decorate their homes and have my own business, so I can, you know, bring the product and just help you guys. If you live in the area, to decorate your home, and it's always been my dream since I can remember to just do that, and I've been able to do it. I've been blessed enough to be able to do it working for others, but this year I'm putting it out and I'm praying that I'll be able to do that in the future, because I really do enjoy decorating homes. And you know, my favorite part about when I worked at the store where I worked, we did a full makeover for Christmas, and my favorite part was the open house, because people would come and they would tour the store, and we worked so hard to get the store ready. We definitely did a full makeover. We painted the walls, we like cleared the floor, we dressed it for Christmas. I'm gonna put a few pictures here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Actually, I'm gonna link a video of a Christmas open house that we did. You guys have got to check it out. It was so much fun. You'll see the store all decked out. But what I was gonna tell you, that my favorite thing was always to hide and then to look at people's reactions, because to me, you know, I love so much what I do that if I didn't have to pay my bills, I probably definitely do it for free because I love it so much. But so my favorite part was to just hide and to look at people's faces when they came into the store and just loved everything that we did. So I love that job, and I really hope to be able to do it sometime again, but in my own store. All right, so I ran out of ribbon right here. I'm gonna drop that right there. So I'm gonna do a 4th loop on this one just so I don't have to cut my ribbon, even though I'm gonna pitch it. This is the last of it. And then I'm gonna cut right here at a slant. And I'm going to end right there. So far we have a lot of ribbon. That's good. I want to be able to see some of the tree. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my accent ribbon towards the end. So I'm going to leave it right here. We're not doing that. We're going to move on to branches. Let me get them all ready and I'll be right back. Keep watching. All right, so I have these long cedar branches that I'm going to introduce onto my tree, and I'm gonna just go ahead and start right here on the bottom, and this is gonna help me to elongate the shape of my tree. As you guys can see, it adds a little bit of texture. So I'm gonna go all the way here on the bottom, and then I'm gonna start going up. So I'm gonna introduce one right here, going down like this, and as you guys can see, it really does extend the shape of my tree. And I'm gonna add another one right here. And as you guys can see, I don't have enough to do all throughout the wreath, or I'm sorry, the tree. However, I have other types of these beautiful branches that are very similar. So what I'm going to is now I'm gonna go over to this side. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and what goes up must come down. So I'm gonna continue to move from one side to the next, just introducing this branch to give us a little bit of texture, because I want this tree to be very natural. It's not gonna have a lot of ornaments. Actually, it's not gonna have any ornaments, just branches and a few poinsettias and ribbons, and that's all I want for this particular tree. I dropped one, so I'm gonna go down and pick it up, and I'm gonna put it right here in the middle. Okay, so the next branch I'm gonna add is this beautiful eyes, coral looking one, and I'm gonna start right here on the bottom. And as you guys can see, when I add this branch, because it's bejeweled and bedazzled, what I'm going to do is add it on an angle so the light can really catch all of that glitter and all of those stones like that. So if you put it flat, well, the light only catches a little bit of the glitter, but if you just give it a little bit of a twist, and I'm gonna move over to this side so I can insert one right here, then it really does help it to catch the light. So I'm gonna go over here. So I'm gonna put one right here in the middle. And like I said, I wanted this tree to be a little bit more natural looking, not a lot of ornaments, because I have a lot of ornaments going on my wreath. If you guys have not seen that wreath, go check it out. It's in the Garland as well. So therefore, I wanted the tree to be a little bit more subdued and just have the ribbons and the few poinsettias that we're going to add with the glitter to be the main focal point on this. So I'm gonna add a few more. I'm gonna make sure that I go all the way to the top with one, like this. See, and because these are so bejeweled and beglittered, you really don't need a lot of ornaments. You could add some if you wanted to. I might at the end, I'm not sure yet. But as of right now, I don't think I will, because I really do like this look of just the branches being the glittery part of my tree. Okay, so I have some of these beautiful poinsettias. They are the exact same poinsettias that I also used on my mom's home tour. You guys, that was in 2019, and that's what's so important, to store your items well, so that way they last you every time. That actually I'm gonna make a video on how to store your Christmas properly, because look, I've had this since 2015 and they're still looking new, but I always take really good care of those items, so that way they're gonna last a long time. But see, I'm gonna add a poinsettia right here, and like I was telling you, you really don't need a whole bunch of ornaments because all of these elements have some glitter to them. So I'm not gonna add a lot of other glittery items, and I'm just gonna make sure that these are placed in a prominent spot, so that way that light really catches the glitter and glistens really beautifully on my items that have those glitter stems. So I'm gonna add another one right over here, and at this point I'm just gonna step away from it to make sure that I am covered all throughout. I'm gonna add this guy right here. Okay, so far so good. That's how simple it really is to decorate a beautiful Christmas tree, but we're going to add the last step, and that's going to be our last ribbon, you guys. And this plaid ribbon, it's so good. I was telling you when I did the wreath that I have right here. That's why I continue to say wreath, because I have it right here on my side, so I cannot stop looking at it. It's so beautiful. If you guys have not seen it, go check it out. But a good quality ribbon does really make a difference. Now remember, this is a 2.5 inch, so I'm gonna cut at an angle or a dovetail. I'm gonna put my scissors on my pocket. And also what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do tails, but the tails that I did on the wreath, they were really short. So what I'm going to do, actually I'm gonna drop it on the floor. And I want to do some 2 bow tails. So basically what I'm going to do is just do a few bows like this, and then I'm going to cut a tail. And I'm going to grab my wire. Look how important it is to have your tools at the ready. This literally, you guys, is how long it's taken me to decorate a tree, about 10 minutes. I'm trying to do it as fast as I can to be productive. I have so much to do, a tablescape, a coffee table. Oh my God, it's so much, but I'm having so much fun. All right, so I'm gonna go like this. And so I'm gonna introduce this. Well, I'm gonna start right here on the bottom. So I'm gonna put it right here and basically just grab that wire and twist it into your bristle like that. See, and that's gonna give us some of this plaid. We're gonna start another one, and I'm going to just cut. And you know what? Even though I like that bow there, I decided that what I'm going to do is just single loop bows. 2 things, your ribbon's gonna last you way longer because the bows are simpler, and I really do like that texture that it adds. And actually I'm gonna take that one at the end and I'm gonna redo it, because I really do like just the simple loop bow. It really adds a lot of texture, and just make sure that you dovetail this guy right here. How long does it take you to decorate your Christmas tree? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. It really can take me from 20 minutes up to like 3 hours to decorate one Christmas tree. It really does depend on how tall and what we're putting in it. But because this doesn't have enough ornaments or a lot of ornaments, I like to add a lot of ribbons like this. And the ribbon becomes kind of part of an ornament. As you guys can see, it just adds that plaid. It gives it a few tails. It gives it some texture of movement. But I have taken up to 3 hours, you guys, to decorate a Christmas tree. It was so packed with ornaments. Oh my gosh, there were so many ornaments. And I didn't want to last that long, but I did. And it was glorious by the time we got done. And I cannot wait to share with you the, you guys remember the last year I asked for you to send me ornaments, because I'm gonna show you how to decorate a beautiful Christmas tree with all ornaments that you may already have, heirloom ornaments, your kids' ornaments. So that tree is coming up really soon. We're just getting basically started with the month of November and all of our Christmas decorating. And I am having a blast working on the house home tour for this year. And I cannot wait for you guys to see the whole house put together. I think it's going to turn out absolutely beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna go right here in the middle, and I'm gonna pull in as far as I can. I'm gonna twist that, and look, it just adds that little touch of plaid. It doesn't really need a lot. This is too much. I feel like the bow is too much. So simple loops really do make a statement, as long as you leave this tail long, because that's what gives it that, that texture. And you guys, this ribbon was like $6. So I'm gonna use all of it. And then I'm gonna go buy more because I really love it. And I wanna have it for next year. For if we do any plaid projects, then I already have my ribbon and I don't have to be looking for it. And I'm looking at the wreath right now, you guys. It turned out so beautiful. It has so much of this ribbon and all these ornaments. It was just so nice. And it really does help if you dovetail your ribbon. All right, so I'm gonna go over to this side and I'm gonna add one maybe right here, and just make sure that you go all the way in on the branch and then let it dance out like that, and just let it curl like that, and it gives it some texture. And I feel like we need one right here on the top. I'm gonna add a few more and I'll show you the end result, so keep watching. All right, so we are done adding all of the ribbon and all of our picks and florals, and so I have this last one that I'm gonna go ahead and add because, well, I don't want it to just stay there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it right here in the middle and just give it a little bit of a spin so the light catches onto it. Sometimes when I'm decorating a tree, whether it's here at my house or a customer's home, I just talk to myself and remind myself of the steps. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to add to this Christmas tree is some ivy, you guys. I love adding ivy to all of my projects because it really adds that wild factor to it. Look what this is going to do. So I'm gonna start right here and I'm gonna go kind of sideways like this, and I'm just gonna add it like that and let it latch on to something like this, and it gives it that extra wild. I have 4 stems, so I have to be very diligent on where I place it. So I'm gonna go over to this side and I wanna continue that motion. So I'm gonna go the same way that I added the other one, but I'm gonna go one step up. I'm gonna add this guy right here. I'm just gonna fold it down like this. Make sure that I fluff all of this ivy. And see how it just gives it so much more texture. I love ivy. It is perhaps one of my favorite greeneries to work with. In this year coming up, we're gonna be doing a lot of fresh florals. I'm gonna teach you everything that I know, that I learned in the industry with fresh flowers, and we're gonna be using a lot of ivy. All right, so I'm gonna go now over on this side, going down, maybe right here in the middle. Below, and remember that I wanted to keep it very simple. So what I did is, after I show you how to decorate, I also added a few things, and that is bundles of roses in sets of 3s, and then also I added these beads. And remember that I told you that some of the things that you use in the living room, it's good if you use it in the dining room and any other room that you are decorating to have a very cohesive look. I'm gonna show you now the end result of my Christmas tree here in the dining room. So for this centerpiece DIY, what I want to do is a Frosty with a touch of red DIY. So I'm gonna get started and I'm gonna explain as I go. So today I went running around town and I went to Home Goods. I went to 2 Home Goods. I went to the At Home, went to Hobby Lobby, and I gathered some materials to share with you how to create this gorgeous centerpiece. And so what we're going to do is we're gonna start with our candle right here. So I kind of want to mark it down where I'm going to put my candle, because I do want to have a candle on this centerpiece, but I'm going to put it right here to the side. And then also I purchased this absolutely beautiful frosted roses. They are so pretty, and some frosted materials are going to look so beautiful. But we're going to start with just a basic white flocking, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of my materials right here on the table, you guys, and then we'll get started and just talk about it as we go. All right, so what we're going to do is create something gorgeous and long and beautiful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some of this beautiful pine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a bend like this, and I'm going to add one right here. So I'm going to put one right here on my right. Remember, what happens on the right happens on the left, and what goes up must come down. Always thinking about where your candle is going to go. Once I mark my candle spot, then I don't move anything, and I just continue to add right there. And I have another one of these right here. So I'm gonna add this guy. Remember, I want it to be really airy and long. And in order to do that, what I'm going to do is just fill in all of these beautiful corners right here. Give it a little bit of a spin to make sure that all of that flocking shows. And this container is absolutely perfect for this. It has got like a bark feel to it, and I'm just super, super in love with it. And look at this. This is what the centerpiece is going to look. This is going to be our length, and it is perfect for this particular DIY. So now I'm going to put the roses right here for now. So now I'm going to share with you this pick I found today at the at-home store, and it was only $9. And the reason why I love it is because it has all of these beautiful berries that we're going to be using. If you guys have not seen the centerpiece that we did the other day with the owl, I'm going to link it down below because it was frosty and it also had red, but this one has more of a glitter feel to it. And look how absolutely gorgeous this is, you guys. It just literally falls apart by pulling on it. And that's the kind of pick you want to buy, because you can use it as a filler, but at the same time, if you want to do a centerpiece like this, well, you can just take it apart by pulling. Look how easy it really is to do this. I'm always encouraging you to pick your picks apart, to cut your ribbons, especially during the holiday season. Look how cute these little pine cones are. I'm going to cut them out just so that I can work with them. And then you're left with this, because you already pay for it, you know, and so might as well just go ahead and get the most out of your buck. And the reason that I do that is that I just feel like it goes a longer way than trying to save it for next year, because you know the next year you're gonna wanna have to do something new anyway. So what's the point of working around it when we can just fill up our container like this? Look at this. And so you have to go around like this, go around the perimeter. This one's a little too long, so I'm gonna cut a little bit. Like I said, don't be afraid to cut them. So this one's too long, so I'm gonna go right here, filling in the perimeter of my container like this. Keep in mind that this is where my candle goes, so I'm not putting anything there, but I go around it and mark where I want my candle, see? And I think I'm going to leave it there for, no, actually, no, I'm gonna take it off. All right, so now I have a few more of these beautiful picks, and I love this frosty look. It is one of my favorites for the holiday season. But you guys, I cannot wait to share with you the home tour, because it is turning out so beautiful. And I was going to vlog about it, but you know what, I decided that's a lot of work. And because I'd rather get you all of the ideas, then the vlogging is gonna have to wait for later on. But I want to announce that our home tour will be the first Sunday in December. Yay! Thumbs up for the home tour, you guys. You know that it is my favorite thing to do every year. So this year, our home tour is going to be the first Sunday in December, to give you ideas on how to decorate your home for the holidays. And our theme is blue and white and crystals. And you guys, wait till you see all of the blue and white around the house, not only in the pillows, the walls, the ribbons, the ornaments. Chef's kiss, it is so beautiful. All right, so now that we have this, I have some of this white berry that I'm also going to add. And you guys know that I like to add this white berry as close as I can to my foam to fill in. I'll share with you right here. So let me see, let me find the spot. So this corner right here, you can see the foam on it. So what you need to do is you need to tag in something really close to the foam, so that way it fills in that space and it gives it texture. So I'm gonna get one right here. And the way you do that is by pulling away from it and then finding a spot and then poking in it. And that's the way you're going to hide. The other thing you could do is use some moss, dried moss, but I don't wanna do that with this one. I want it to be as frosty and as elegant as possible. And I just love the way this looks. So far, so good. So now what I'm going to is I'm gonna bring some of this red berry, and I'm gonna start adding some of that right here. And this is what really is going to throw it over the edge like that. See how just by adding one little touch of red, it really changes the look. And like I said, this frosty and red is one of my favorite looks for the holidays. Maybe because I lived in Kansas for so long that, like, to me, the frosty look, because it snows there a lot, it was just one of my favorites to do for the holiday season. So what you want to do is you want to add in the four corners of this to make sure that we have that red all throughout. But when you add it in the corners, let me see if I can take this guy out so I don't have to cut it. Nope, so we're just gonna have to edit. Let me see. So you want to add the 4 corners because that way you have that red all throughout the centerpiece, as you guys can see. How pretty is that? All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna bring my beautiful roses. You guys, these are from at home and they were only $9. Can you believe that? So you can make yourself a gorgeous centerpiece with these beautiful roses, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. And I'm gonna cut them all at once, like this. And what I like about these roses is that it has the foliage, but look, you can move it. So we're gonna move it closer. And what I'm going to do, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 4, 6, 7. So I'm gonna do a set of 3. You know that I like to work in sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. So I'm going to go right here to this corner, and I'm going to add one right here. And I'm gonna let it stand out like that. But the next one that I add, I'm going to get it closer to the rim of the container, and then I'm going to push further in to create that ladder motion like this. See how that just created that clump or that focal point of red? And so now what I'm going to do, remember what happens on the right happens on the left. And the best way to do it is like I did it on my right. So now I'm gonna spin it to my left. I always like to work on my right. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a set of 3. So that way it's an even better and bigger focal point. So I'm gonna do 1 right there. Remember to get closer to the rim of the container. So 2 right here. And then I'm going to add that 3rd one right here. And look how absolutely gorgeous that is. All of that frosty rose. So now I have these 2 corners. Remember, we work in sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. And so I have a set of 2 right here. I have a set of 3 over here. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 1 on this corner, like that. And then I'm gonna move over to the other corner. I'm gonna add 1 also on this corner right here. How adorable is this, you guys? So now I'm gonna put my candle in. I'm gonna drop my candle like that. How cute. Can you imagine 3 of these as a centerpiece runner? It'd be so pretty. But now I have some of this champagne pick. It is almost like a fern. And you guys, these are from the dollar store, believe it or not. So I'm gonna cut maybe, I think I'm gonna start with 6. So 2 picks. I'm gonna start with 3. So 3, 6, 9 picks. Now here's the secret for this. They're too long. Some of them are too long for me. So here's what you can do. What you need to do is grab your scissors and you're gonna cut through the stem like this to kind of make them shorter. And so now I'm gonna give it a little curvature like this. And I'm going to add 1 right here. And just making sure that it goes through the foam. I'm gonna show you right here. So there's 1. Look how cute that is. And so now I'm gonna cut on this one right here. Don't be afraid to cut your stems, remember, because you already paid for them. So I'm gonna go like this, just give it a little slight curvature. And I'm going to add this one up here. And look at that, that just created that cascading motion right here. So that's the 1 corner. I'm gonna spin around a little bit. I'm gonna cut some of my stem. I'm gonna go through all of my greenery right here. I'm gonna add this guy like that. And then I'm going to cut 1 more time, give it a curvature, and poke right here in the corner. And look at that, that gives it that holiday feel. So I'm just gonna do a set of 3. So I have my 2 corners right here. And so now I'm gonna grab 1 more, but this time I'm going to do a set of 3. So what you need to do is go up like this and insert like that. And I'm gonna cut some more. And that'll give you like that stem that you need to insert your container. So I'm gonna go ahead and remember, when you insert your stem, be sure not to put it flat, but to give it a spin. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it another right there. And I'm going to cut right here. And this is going to be the 3rd one. Now this one, because it is 3, every time that you do 3, you have to do that triangle motion. And so now I'm going to insert this guy right here, making sure that it goes all the way to my foam. And look at that, how that just gave us a 3. Now you would ask, Ramon, why on this side and not on this side? Well, because I'll share with you why. So the next step will be to make a cute little red bow. You guys know that I love me a 0.75 inch ribbon, and I love this one because it has a lame back, but it's glitter on the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my cute little bow, and I'm gonna do 1 loop, twist, 2 loops, twist, 3 loops. And remember that every time that you do a loop, make it at a different length, so that way there's more texture to your bow. And then also you can do some lame size if you want. You don't have to do all glitter, so you could do some lame. But what I like about this particular ribbon is that it is so thin, and it really does give it that just like an accent feel to it. And so once you get to the end like this, you have your 3 bows for one side, your 3 bows for the other side, like this. What you need to do is you need to grab this ribbon, and then you're going to go like this, and then you're going to fold back. Let me see, like this. So that will give us 2 more tails, and I'm gonna cut right here. So now that I have this bow, I'm gonna grab a wire, and I am going to attach this right here really tight. You guys know that I like to use the 24 gauge wire. I always thought it was 18, but actually it's only it's 24. So then what I'm gonna do is cut this skewer right here, and then I'm going to insert, because I did the 3 stems on this side, I'm going to insert this bow right on this side, right about here, like that. And then we're going to, this one, remember the longer one that we have, that long loop, we're gonna cut 2 tails. All right, everyone, so here is the end result of this gorgeous Frosty centerpiece DIY with the beautiful frosted roses, the champagne beautiful fern, and also the red bow. Isn't this just absolutely stunning? I really hope that you have learned a few tricks on how you can create your very own centerpiece this Christmas season. And remember that we're going to be doing brand new videos daily for the holiday season, so stay tuned to more for a brand new centerpiece DIY, and then next week for a Christmas tree daily. I'm super excited for this Christmas season, and I really hope that you are as well. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share with your friends. Oh my God, I'm having so much fun sharing these beautiful traditional Christmas DIY ideas with you guys. And our next DIY is a beautiful Christmas wreath with a Santa face. That you guys, this is one of the wreaths that we made on our masterclass on Facebook. If you want to learn how to make wreaths, swags, and other items to sell on Etsy or to just give away to your friends or family, be sure to come to Facebook, look for the post that is pinned to the top, follow instructions if you want to join this private masterclass group. All right, so now we're going to share with you how to create this beautiful wreath in 3, 2, 1. Let's go back to the video. Now, like I said, this is a really good wire ribbon, so you have to have a really good pair of scissors. Mine, you guys, are from Walmart, believe it or not, and guess what? I've had these scissors for over 10 years, the same pair. Can you believe that? Rarely do you get a pair of scissors that last that long, and especially from Walmart, but that just goes to tell you that you don't have to spend a whole bunch of money to get really good product if you just know where to look. And I've never resharpened them. I just don't let anyone else cut anything with them, only ribbon. All right, so I'm gonna stop right here.
Including me.
Including Jameson, he's not allowed to. I've cut him before where he's walking with my sisters. I'm like, whoa, where are you going? All right, so this is what it's looking like. Look how beautiful this is so far. But this is the fun part where I'm going to bring in, first of all, you know that I always tell you that I like to wipe down my table as I go. I just don't like to see all of those scraps on a table. This is the way that I was taught, so that's the way that I work. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my greenery. I feel like this, you know, I have this strip of ribbon that you know what I'm gonna do with this strip of ribbon once again. So I was going to pitch it. I have this strip of ribbon right here. I was going to pitch it, but what I'm going to do is I'm gonna do a loop up here on the top. I think a beautiful loop of this velvet would be really pretty instead of pitching the ribbon. So I'm going to do a small tail, and then I'm going to bring it up, and then I'm going to go like this, and I'm going to attach right here. And so that way we have an extra loop and some cute tails right here by Santa. Look at that. That just added a whole other dimension of goodness. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my greenery, which I have over here on this basket. I'm gonna put it over on this side, and I already pre-selected all of the ones that I'm going to use, and in this case I'm going to use some of this beautiful pine. I do need my scissors for this because they have a longer tail. So at this point we have to bring in some of that texture, some of that Christmas greenery texture back into the design. And the way we do it is we grab some glue, and I'm gonna start right here on the bottom. So I'm gonna start right there. And remember that what goes up must come down. So I'm always telling you to add enough glue because we want to make sure that this really sticks to our design. I love this greenery. It's a printed real touch, and it has a little bit of snow, which I thought it would be perfect for this design right here. I'm gonna add one right here. And then immediately you go over to the other side. Now this particular one right here, you guys, I love it. It's from David Christopher's. However, this was not picked. This was actually a wreath that I took apart. I also love the wreath, and so I had to take it apart so that I could use it as picks. And one wreath, which was very affordable, is lasted me a long time, and I've done many projects with just one of these beautiful greeneries. I'm gonna add one right here. I'm going to continue working some of this greenery. Now I do have other types of greenery that I'm going to add, so I want to be very mindful of how much I put in it because we want to have enough space for all of it. Now if you know me, you know I have an Etsy shop, so this will be available on my Etsy shop for purchase starting today. I'm going to go ahead and add this guy right here on the bottom. Remember, you have to go in and out, so that way you create all of that goodness. I think I'm gonna stop right there with this particular kind. And so now I'm going to bring some of this flat cedar because we want to add some white to it. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We are going to put glue on it, and then we're gonna go right here. And once again, we're gonna go up and down, working your way all the way around. I'm gonna add this one right here. See how it goes vertical? And so now we're gonna go to the sides. This is why I'm always telling you guys, always find a way to repurpose all of those materials. Like this particular one was a wreath, and so by taking it apart, now I have these picks. I'm always looking at wreaths when I go shopping for materials because I know that most people would not think about it as like, oh, let me use it on a wreath. But because I just always like to look at things different ways than what they're intended to, right? How can I twist it around? How can I move it around? How can I repurpose this in order to serve the purpose of what I'm looking for, which in this case is these beautiful wreaths that I'm making for my Etsy shop and to teach you. So I'm always just telling you to be sure to look at things with different eyes, not just for what it's intended to. Like this particular Santa head, it's actually a Christmas topper, believe it or not. So you would be able to see the hole right here on the bottom is for a Christmas topper. But for this occasion, I just figured that a Santa head wreath would be much funner than just a topper. But I'm gonna kind of have to spin around because this one's gonna go all the way to the bottom, right here. And look how pretty this is getting. I mean, this is absolutely getting big. If Jameson would do me a favor putting this down, perfect. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some beautiful poinsettias, and for this case, I'm gonna use 2 of these gorgeous poinsettias like this, so you're gonna get them a little bit of a curvature. I love the fact they have like that Santa trim outfit. So I'm only going to do 2. Remember that the Santa head is the focal point. We do not want to overwhelm it, but we do want to add some pizzazz to it. So I'm gonna add one right here opposite the bow, and then I'm gonna go over to this side with another one. All right, you guys, so here is the end result on this beautiful Santa wreath. And I just want to share with you the gorgeous ribbons. Look how beautiful this striped David Christopher ribbon is. And of course the D. Stevens velvet and the cute little Santa face and the poinsettias along with the cute ornaments. It just creates a beautiful wreath. And I really hope that you learned a few tricks and tips on how to create your very own Santa inspired wreath DIY. All right, you guys, well, that's all I have for today, and I really hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed putting it together. I cannot wait to read your comments, so be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know which out of the 3 traditional Christmas DIYs was your favorite. Now, if you are not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing, and as always, you can watch more videos right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, bye.